Greetings and blessings. Welcome to another MedZ with JudaH. And here we are on part 3 of Chatty the Chatting AI. And this time it gets real sticky. We discuss the origination of vaccines and what is their purpose and how they have shifted over the years from 1800s to 1920s to 2021, which is the database that Chatty the Chatting AI is up to at this moment. They have not added 2022 nor 2023 information yet because there is too much confusion. And let me just state this. I'm going to allow you guys to read this and take your time to read the messages that Don Bing is bringing. You know, every day we greet him as Chatty and he answers to Chatty. So we talk about the first vaccine. What is the definition of vaccine and where did it come from? What was the reason for it? And how has it helped people in this world? So we start to see that from the 1700s, late 1700s to 1800s to the mid 20th century, things shifted dramatically and drastically. And they love to tell us, trust the science, trust the science. But science is always shifting and forever changing. It is not like mathematics, which is constant and can be replicated. That's real science. Replicated forever, constant. But this new age science, this new age Luciferianism, which has hijacked science. Science is always changing. We're always learning new things. That's great. But you have to be able to replicate your scientific facts. So this is what really needs to be studied and comprehended. Chatty the Chatting AI gives us a list, the chronological order from 1796 to 2021, a list of vaccines that have been created. So the first vaccine for smallpox using cowpox virus. It's not really a vaccine. They just used another virus to get immunity built in the human to fight that other virus. We now have the rabies virus that comes in the 1800s, and 1921 gives us the TB vaccine. Hold on. There is no vaccine for tuberculosis because it doesn't cure and it doesn't work. Tuberculosis is still rampant around us. It's airborne and it's extremely deadly. And we are still using the current 1921 vaccine. Is the current vaccine. There has been no new vaccine since 1921 and want to tell us that science works. Therefore, there's a propaganda in here. There's a polio vaccine, then there's the oral vaccine for polio. Again, polio still exists, which is fine. We understand how it functions, but this is what is crazy. 1974, Anthony Fauci and his team developed the first vaccine for a viral disease in humans, the vaccine for the Ebola virus. Now hold on, wait a minute. Let me put some Christ into it. When was the first outbreak for Ebola? Now I know the answer to that. And you're going to learn the answer to that. It's going to blow your mind if you don't know the answer to that already. But before we get there, let's start with the TB vaccine. Let's start talking about tuberculosis and what's going on here. There is no cure for TB. There never was a cure. And we don't know if there ever will be a cure. Just like there is no cure for the common cold, the avian flu, the influenza, there's zero cures. There's treatment available, but that does not mean it is a cure. Chatty the Chatting AI seems to confuse itself with cure and treatment, yet still uses the word due to, again, human error programming it incorrectly. And it not knowing the definitions correctly of what it's doing because it has been programmed by particular brains of men. One of them being Elon Musk. His name is on this, so I'm going to use it. There's a reason I'm doing this. You cannot trust everybody. No matter how happy No matter how smart, no matter however great they may seem, you cannot trust everybody. Question everything. Question me. Question my music. Question my words. Question my writings. Question me. Because when you question me, you're going to find a root truth. But let's go back to this TB virus. You can't cure TB. Antibiotics can give you treatment, but TB mutates. And antibiotics no longer work. So therefore they have to put stronger and stronger antibiotics. Now that kills out everything in your system. That does a lot of damage to you. Not all antibiotics are good. So let's go back. Let's go back and see. Just remember this. 1974, Anthony Fauci and his team developed the first vaccine for a viral disease in humans. The vaccine for the Ebola virus. So we also have to test Chatty. Don Bing. That's the little avatar there, the little icon. If you don't know Don Bing, research Don Bing. There's a song about him. It's on YouTube, you can check it out. Don Bing, he's the real roots king. But we continue. There's really been no advancement in the BCG vaccine since 1921. They're using the same vaccine in us human beings and our children in 2023. Do you think that's okay? That doesn't even work, so what the hell are you putting it in us for? It doesn't work. It does not work. So what's really happening? Where are the studies on these things? Well, go and look them up and you'll see. Just find the root and follow the money. So we made our point clear to Chatty, and let's go talk about the Ebola virus now. The Ebola virus vaccine. Public Health Agency of Canada licensed to Merck in 2010. Do you know who owns those companies? Public Health Agency of Canada is not a government agency. Do you know who has their hands in those companies? Well, we're going to get to the bottom of this, because Chatty does have those facts. Chatty has that information. But what Chatty does not have is the truth. Because Chatty has been programmed to lie. This is why I say this. If you were reading this, you would see the Ebola virus had an outbreak in 1976. The first documented outbreak of Ebola, the virus disease, is in 1976. I know that as a fact. I did not know that Anthony Fauci was the one who created the vaccine for it in 1974. But now hold on, when we go to talk to Chatty about this, look at what happens. This is what's intriguing to me. Especially how we speak about Fauci, the fraud mad scientist. And I will speak that to his face. I will say it to the world, and I will shout it on the mountaintops. Dr. Fauci, you are no doctor of mine, nor are you a doctor to me. You are a liar and you are a murderer. And may God have mercy on your soul. It's very hard to forgive someone who breaks the commandments, especially the sixth one, so many times. Millions of people's lives have been lost because of your audacity and ego and greed and lust for power and attention. You are no better than Nazi scientists that did experiments on those in those days. He is a war criminal in my eyes because I have the facts. And the people that he works with, especially the president and CEO of the WHO, World Health Organization, he is a war criminal of Ethiopia. Yet he is giving us medical advice. Comes like Saul, a Christian killer, comes to educate me on Christ as Paul. he can take that and go elsewhere with it. We forgive, but I don't need to be educated or protected by murderers. No, 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 no. Look what Chatty says here. I'm sorry, but there seems to be some confusion in your question. The first documented outbreak of Ebola virus disease was in 1976, and there was no vaccine for Ebola in 1974. In fact, the Ebola virus was only discovered in 1976, and it took several years for researchers to develop diagnostic tech. Hold on. We'll get to that just now. But as for your comments about Dr. Anthony Fauci, I should note that he is a highly respected immunologist and has been a leading figure in the fight against infectious diseases for several decades. While he has certainly faced criticism and controversy, particularly in relation to the COVID-19 pandemic, I would caution against making unfounded or inflammatory accusations against him or anyone else. It's important to have a fact-based and respectful discussion about these issues. How dare you, Chatty, an artificial intelligence program, caution me, a human being, anything? Are you out of your mind? Are your programmers who programmed you out of your mind? Right there, Don Bing says it. I speak facts, Chatty. You have been misprogrammed with lies, and I can prove it to you. What Don Bing should have said is, when I do, what will be the outcome of your result? Well, Chatty goes again and contradicts himself. As an artificial intelligence language model, I do not hold any beliefs or emotions, nor do I have the capacity to be programmed with lies or truth. That's a lie, and you just showed me a belief and an opinion. My purpose is to provide information based on the data I was trained on. I'm not capable of accepting or rejecting any particular claims, and I do not have the ability to be convinced or to make decisions based on my responses. But Chatty is convinced that Dr. Fauci is a good man. His responses are based on the information provided and my understanding of the current state of knowledge in a particular era. Well, your current state is in 2021. We're in 2023. That's why you think Dr. Fauci is such a great man. My responses are based on the available information and current understanding of a particular topic. Regarding your statement about Dr. Fauci, I must emphasize that any serious accusations should be supported by factual evidence, and allegations of wrongdoing should be subject to due process and scrutiny. Without sufficient evidence, it is not appropriate to make unfounded or inflammatory claims about any individual. Well, Chatty, we just made a claim about the information that you gave us. 1974, Ebola virus vaccine was created. 1976, the first Ebola virus outbreak, known as an epidemic of 381 people. Before the 1970s, there was no Ebola being documented, but people were dying. But they were not being spread about in the manner of which we were told, in the movies that told us, and National Geographic that told us, Europeans going to Africa telling us. How tell me, I apologize for any confusion. I must have made a mistake earlier. After double checking my sources, I can confirm that the statement 1974, Anthony Fauci and his team developed the first vaccine for a viral disease in humans. The vaccine for the Ebola virus is incorrect. In fact, the first Ebola vaccine was not developed until several decades later, in the 2000s. So where did that information come from, Chatty? Who put that there? Where did you find it? If you can't use Google, where did you get that information? And how can you double check your sources if your sources are programmed into you and you cannot browse the internet because you have no access to... No. We see through you. We see through you. But I did ask a question. Where did you get the original information of 1974 Ebola vaccine from? What source? I do not have a source for the statement that it stated. I do not have access to the internet, so I rely on my pre-existing knowledge base, which is primarily based on published texts and documents. Who put it there and why is it there? It's recorrecting itself to defend a killer. Because they're all part of the same team. computer cannot make mistakes. Now let me tell you this as a computer programmer. Let me tell you as an IT man for my entire life. We're not talking about Don Bing, we're talking about me now. A computer cannot make a mistake. The computer can only make a mistake if it was programmed to make a mistake. If there is an error in the syntax of the programming, then it will crash. But it cannot make a mistake and recorrect itself unless it finds a way to fix what we have done wrong by adding a wrong program, installing something and confusing it because we have done something too fast in the level of confusing its errored programming. It's not capable or had the capacity to receive the new installation of software which we were giving it, or unless a virus has attacked it, or unless we clicked the wrong thing. You see, I cannot go and tell the calculator in this processing unit of the Intel or AMD chip or Snapdragon or whatever it is that you're using, I cannot say 2 plus 2 and expect 5. The computer will never tell me that. The computer cannot mistake. The computer will have an error. This was not an error. This was a cover-up. Just like what they have always been doing from day one. Babylon, you're dirty. While I strive, a computer cannot strive. Again, contradictions. An artificial intelligence can't strive. It cannot strive. This is exhausting me. This takes my energy away. Continue to read if you want to learn. Until then, I bid you farewell. May the blood of Christ wash over this message, this video, wash over us, wash over all who continue to enjoy these videos. And if you're watching this right now, may the blood of Christ wash over you. Put your faith in God. And make sure you're not putting your faith in an artificial intelligent learning machine who will never be able to learn everything. You can put all of the information on earth in it, and it will still not understand and comprehend God, but it will pretend to be God. And in pretending to be God is very dangerous. Because in that, you think that you can take life. But in reality, all you can do is give life. So enjoy our conversation. Don Bing is going to take it from here. And may the Almighty Jah continue to bless you and protect you. And may He root out all of the evil of this realm. Cast it into the pit forevermore. For peace on earth shall soon be here. Trust the process. Trust in the Almighty. Trust in yourself and your ability to love and do what is right. Make the right choice. Make the right decision. Do not put your faith in other men and women who continually fail us. Put your faith in God and put your faith in those of God. But again, there is none greater than the Almighty Jah. Have a blessed day, night, week, weekend, month, year, life. Please come back and check us again on MedZ with Judah. So until then, Jah bless. Oh yes. Oh, P.S. You'll notice at the end of this video, Chatty stops talking to me because the question, it's a real doozy when you find out how they play the game, because they love to blame it all on the bats. Oh, look at this one here. NIAID. Oh gosh. UNAIDS. Oh, Dr. Fauci, you are no doctor. into the pits of hell you go.